Good evening. In my analysis, I opined that the running mate naming by Deputy President was delayed by a standoff that was staged by Rigathi Gachagua. If William Ruto needed a grounded politician with grassroots networks, with financial support that can actually be a perfect running mate and marshal votes from Mount Kenya, that person starts with Rigathi Gachagua and ends with Rigathi Gachagua. And so what happened is, and in my understanding, William Ruto might have marshaled Mount Kenya politicians to be part of the negotiation table, because moments in the midday, William Kabogo, the former Kiambu governor, also went to Karen residence, Moses Kuria, amongst other politicians. And what is coming out from Karen is that these leaders have actually coalesced around Kindiki and are now pushing for Rigathi Gachagua to be abandoned. And then it's emerging that there might be a likelihood that Rigathi Gachagua is being denied that ticket. Now, this is coming because in Mount Kenya, the only leader that has shown interest that he needs that position, rather he wants that position, is Rigathi Gachagua. Now, today, this evening, there is a protest that have been witnessed in Nyeri, where leaders are saying no Rigathi, no Ruto. In fact, they were threatening that they want to come from Nyeri and go to Karen so that they can send their petition to William Ruto to pick Rigathi Gachagua. Now, I want you to watch that bit of that protest here.
Alikuja hapa Mount Kenya.
Rigathi Gachagua and Kindiki are actually reported to have left the current residents, driving themselves out, and in what is seen as a protest because there were no agreements. So what happened inside was, and I mentioned that there was these negotiations while some people were keeping on telling us that Rigathi Gachagua and William Ruto were in Narok. They were not in Narok. So what happened is they were subjected to a nomination exercise where the leaders that were there were to vote on them. Now, on that vote is where Rigathi Gachagua might have lost. And the moment that happened, there was no point of agreement. And so that's what happened, and we understood that they left. In fact, you can see this short video here when Kindiki was leaving the Karen residence. So no announcement. There is a Swahili word that says vita vya panzi furaha ya kunguru. When your neighbor's house is burning, sometimes you tend to celebrate. But then little did William Ruto know that Rigathi Gachagua is another form of Kalonzo Musyoka in Kenya Kwanza. And someone was asking me in my analysis, why am I saying that Rigathi had a sense of entitlement? He actually believes that genetically that position belongs to him. Just the same way Kalonzo Musyoka also had an entitlement that position of running mate belongs to him. So one thing you can find out is this. During the day since morning, there's some group that had already, a group of youths that had already been marshaled or rather been mobilized, and they were, I think, in some hotel in Nyeri, waiting for that announcement. And so what's happening, number one, that Rigathi Gachagua might have told maybe the voters, or rather his political campaign handlers, that he's going to be the running mate. But the moment he entered current residence, I think things changed because of the other leaders that now turned against his candidature. Number two, for the protest to break out in the middle of that negotiation, because as by the time I was shooting this video, I did this video around 4:30, the negotiation was still going on. And then a protest to break in Nyeri, there is most likelihood that someone in that meeting, or rather, let's just say Rigathi Gachagua himself, is communicating whatever is happening there to the people on ground. And so that is why they've been mobilized to push for that position to be given to Rigathi Gachagua. So the truth of the matter here is that someone is mobilizing, and if you look at that, there is a bit of that people who really want Rigathi Gachagua to be given. On the other hand, there is no much of pressure from Kithure Kindiki's side. Now, what is really happening? Now, what I want us to look at here is why the protests are coming out and what is the interpretation of this protest in respect to the position of Runningmate. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this video and you have not yet subscribed, kindly subscribe and click the notification bell and also give us your feedback. My question is, what do you think would make William Ruto, or rather would make Mount Kenya politicians not to support Rigathi Gachagua? If you normally follow my analysis, you can have an idea. But I want to read your comment because after the running mate choice is made, we are going to do more analysis. Now, one thing is happening is this, that the position of running mate is very delicate in Kenya Kwanza, just like in Azimio, and is likely to rip that house down. It is likely to break that house because one thing that is happening is this, that there is a team that wants Rigathi Gachagua, there is a team that wants Kithure Kindiki. However, on ground, there is a bit of the voters are getting polarized. They're getting polarized in the sense when they say no Rigathi, no Ruto, what simply means is that if no Ruto, then who? The other person that is on the other side is Raila Odinga. So most likely, if Rigathi Gachagua walks out of that meeting unhappy, may not campaign for William Ruto in central Kenya. And that is not really going to work in the favor of DP Ruto. Now, another observation that I can make is this. The running mate choice in Mount Kenya was the secret bait. So what DP Ruto first went and sold there in the name of bottom-up economic model, that he wants to do empowerment, because two was, I want to uplift the economy. That is number one. The other one was selling the betrayal tag on Uhuru betrayed us, so you need to vote for me to punish Uhuru. That is not why they're most likely to vote for him. But the choice of running mate is a big bait for central Kenya. And this informs actually why Raila Odinga doesn't have any other option in terms of running mate away from Mount Kenya. Whatever is happening here is a recipe to the political players. In fact, for all the presidential candidates, there is a bit of that concentrated push, because in that protest, there is a likelihood that what is playing out is that central Kenya feel the running mate position is the position, is their slot. And I watched an interview of, I think, KTN reporters in Kirinyaga, Nyandarua, and bit of Kiambu. Everyone, they have a sense of entitlement that because they don't have the presidency, the running mate slot is reserved for them. And you need to credit Moses Kuria for that narrative. Lastly, if you listen to the guy, he's saying that we are the kids of Mau Mau here from Nyeri. Now, one thing, and I can surely tell you, that is making the negotiations for running mate protracted and no agreement is the regional politics, or rather, the inter-Kikuyu county politics is playing. Rigathi Gachagua is from Nyeri. Now, in Nyeri, the only elected member that he has there, I think, is Mutahi Kahiga, who most likely is not part of that negotiation. Now, Kithure Kindiki is from Tharaka Nithi, and he doesn't have any leader, perhaps formidable leader from Tharaka Nithi, vouching for him, because I watched and realized Mithika Linturi is from Meru, but Mithika Linturi is not in Karen. So, all these other politicians from Murang'a and Kiambu are vouching for Kithure Kindiki, simply on just making sure that if they give Rigathi Gachagua is going to eclipse them. Someone like Kabogo, in the event that he does not win the governor seat in Kiambu, he will not want to be ruled by Rigathi Gachagua. So the issue that is coming out here is the regional politics playing out in negotiations. And that's why Nyeri is sprouting. How about if also Tharaka Nithi comes out and say, this is our position? Even though this might be a positive sign that William Ruto has a stake there, but again, it's polarizing, so that when Raila also picks a running mate, things are not going to be very easy, because Raila most likely go for Kirinyaga and Ruto maybe go for Kindiki. If Rigathi is not given, things are not going to be simple. But why do you think Rigathi Gachagua mobilized the leaders there? One thing you can see is that he mobilized grassroots leaders in Nyeri, or rather youths in Nyeri, for this to be pushed, is because he had already seen the signs that there were indications that he will not be given that position. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my analysis and on that protest. Now, if you're in Nyeri, what is the mood? Or if you're in Mount Kenya, what is the mood in wherever you are? What are people saying?